Well, Scotland, welcome back. You took the questionnaire on the computer. Were there any questions there that you thought were really cool or that were hard for you to answer? Or
There's one that I found pretty neat.
what was that?
Can't remember it. It was like, do you, like, on bike rides, would you rather go on, like, one that you know already or just ride around?
Yeah. But you kind of like that question?
Yeah.
Was it easy to decide your answer for that one?
It was.
Okay, cool. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to look at your results from answering those questions. But before we do that, we're going to go through some activities in the workbook. Okay? So this will be yours to keep at the end of the program. But in the meantime, you'll have to do a little bit of drawing in them. Let's go ahead and open up to page 2 and just look at some information to start. Okay. What we're going to be talking about is called type, personality type, and that understanding our differences, that the differences that exist in all people, whether they're 2 years old or 52 years old, are able to help us understand who we are. And if we know who we are, we can manage ourselves better. And we use the word strengths and stretches. If you were going to pick up your pen, what hand would you pick it up with?
My right hand.
Okay. Why would you do that?
I've just always used my right hand. I'm used to it.
Okay. You're used to it. It feels comfortable. That's the side you like. Okay? Your personality has the same. It has a side that it likes better. So we tend to use that side whenever we have a choice. What if you hurt your right hand and you had to use your other hand? What would it feel like?
It'd feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah. But could you do something with it? Could you learn how to write your name or write some numbers with your hand?
I could.
You could. It would take some time and effort, wouldn't it?
It would.
But you could learn. And yet, if you had a choice, which one would you use?
My right hand.
Yeah. Well, your personality is exactly the same. We're going to talk about two different sides, but one is going to be that preferred side that you could just pick up and use, and the other is going to be, we call it the stretch side, the side where you might have to really put some little more effort, a little bit of extra work in order to be effective with it. Okay?
Okay.
But once we know those differences, we're able to handle those differences and use them. And when we understand those differences that exist in ourselves and in other people, then we can know how to appreciate other people for what is their strength, and they can appreciate us for our strength. All right? So let's go ahead then and look at page 4. Okay? So on page 4, it tells us some things we want to keep in mind. We want to make sure that we understand that this information, this personality type information, helps us understand our best way for learning, forming friendships, and organizing our work and our fun. It describes only normal and good differences. So anything you see in this book is only going to be a good thing. It's not about anybody who can do anything wrong or be in trouble. It's only good stuff. But it will help you find your best way for solving problems and working and living with others. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? So those are our strengths and our stretches that we talked about. Our strengths being the side of us that works best for us and easiest for us, and the stretch side, the one we use when we need to. But it might have to work a little bit harder to make it work. Okay. So on page 6, all types are smart. So one type can't be smarter than another. All types can make mistakes. So everybody can goof up sometimes, and all types can do a good job. What's important to remember is just because we know what your type is, your personality, your preferences, it does not mean we know what you're going to do, or what you're going to think, or what you're going to say. You still have total choice about that. And that's all part of your ability to make your own choices about what you want to do, think, or say. But it will tell us where you get your energy. And that energy, that natural way, when you just said, oh, I don't know, it just feels better to do it that way, that's the part we're going to be talking about. All right?
Okay.
Does that sound good to you?
Yeah.
All right. So the first activity we're going to do is called I Am a Good Student. And when we do I Am a Good Student, we're looking at two different descriptors of students who are good at being a student. One of them might match you better than the other. So if you look at the first description of I am a good student, in this first pair it says, I really like being with my friends at school and being in the middle of whatever's happening. Teachers like how I quickly volunteer to participate in activities, although I can get into trouble for talking too much. Talking about new learning actually makes ideas clearer for me. I get bored when I have to just sit and listen. Or I could be a good student if I have a small circle of good friends at school and I like spending time with them. In class, I appreciate time to read and think. I answer when I'm sure of my ideas, but I don't rush to answer if I'm still thinking. Although I enjoy being with groups, I don't want to be the center of attention, especially with people I don't know well. So does that first description of a good student match you, or does that second description of a good student match you better?
The second one.
The second one seems better for you? So take your pen, if you don't mind, honey, and just circle that description. Okay, cool. We can do that, or if we want, we could just circle the picture that goes with it. All right, so let's go and look at another set of differences. These, again, are two different ways of being a good student, and you get to decide which one matches you. In the first set, you see our picture of the magnifying glass looking at that very specific piece of information. This good student says, I work best with specific directions. The more information I have, the better I can produce results. I like information presented in order. It's easier to follow. Once I have an idea, I can make a really good project. Coming up with the idea is sometimes hard. Or I can be a good student. Too much information interferes with my creativity. Tell me what you need and let me come up with lots of possibilities. The harder part for me is making the project. Some of my ideas can be complicated. I may not always remember specifics, but I am good at recognizing how one idea relates to another. Sometimes I confuse others because I talk about so many ideas at one time. So what do you think? Do you think you sound more like the person who is looking at the information and loves doing the project more than the idea? Or are you more like the good student who likes to come up with the idea instead of working on the project?
Probably the first one.
The first one? Okay. So just circle our little magnifying glass in the end. What was it about that one that you thought was really cool for you?
Well, most of the time I like doing the project more.
Yeah. Well, that can be the fun part, isn't it? All right. Let's look at another set of differences. Two other ways of being a good student. This time the one with the puzzle says, school is exciting when I feel challenged. I want to learn from those who know their subject best. I can define the problem and think of ways to solve the problem, whether it's in math or in literature. If I think I'm right, I will try to convince others to think my way. I tend to tell the truth as I see it, and sometimes people take it the wrong way. I know what I do well, and I know what I still need to learn. Or are you the good student who says, school is exciting when people work together in friendly and cooperative ways. I like a classroom that encourages each of us to become the best we can be and offers help when we need it. I'm willing to help others who need it. I'm able to tell people information without hurting their feelings. I appreciate getting positive feedback from the teacher about my work. Which one of those two is the kind of good student that you would think you are?
The second one.
Second one? And what did you like about that description?
Well, the part where it says I appreciate getting positive feedback from the teachers about my work.
That feels good to you?
Yes.
Yeah. What happens when you don't get that from a teacher?
I just try it again.
Oh, really? And what if you still didn't get any?
I should keep trying.
Oh, wow. Very nice. Go ahead and circle that answer for us. Great. So we have one more pair of good students. The first good student has our arrows going in a singular direction. And that good student says, I like to know what is expected each day so I can be prepared. Pacing my work so I'm not working at the last moment is a skill I do naturally. I get my assignments done so I have time to spend with my friends. Silliness in class can be a distraction when I'm trying to work. Or are you a good student who has arrows going kind of in many directions? And that good student says, I like the element of surprise, and I like when we change our school routine and do something different. Most of my work is produced at the last moment because I get this surge of energy that helps me do my best. I think about it all along, but I finish it when it's due. Blending fun and work makes me more efficient, so I like a classroom where a bit of fun is encouraged while we work. Do you see one of those being more like you than the other?
The second one.
The second one sounds more like you?
Yes.
And what part of the second one sounded cool for you?
Well, I like having fun while doing my work.
Do you? And what does that fun look like for you?
Probably thinking like different ways to do the problem.
Oh.
Like try it with blocks or with colors,
Okay.
color-coded.
Yeah. So it may not be with playing with friends or doing things with friends. It could be just playing with ideas with the task.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, go ahead and circle that one. Beautiful. Okay. So if we look at the next page, it helps us remember that we know that there are a lot of ways you can do a job well. There are many ways that you can be part of a team and do a good job with a team. There are many ways we can talk with others and make our ideas clear. There are many ways to design new ideas. There are a lot of ways to make our ideas work. But what we want to do is use this information about our personality so we can work well with others, we can use our energy best, and we can appreciate other people for their differences so long as it works for them.